2 Timothy chapter 4 at the 6th verse, we'll find the text upon which we shall deliberate today. I want to today begin a new series in this house. We just completed the love series. God laid it upon my heart as we came to this new place to preach a month on this subject: never give up. Never give up. He told me to inspire his people. My assignment for 4 Sundays is to get down in your madness, down in your despair, to get down in your depression, and to give you a fighting spirit. Because you're too close. I said you're too close. Matter of fact, you're closer now than you ever been in your life. This is not a time for giving up. That's right. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 6. It is, my beloved, it is good and fitting that on this first Sunday in this facility that we should hear Paul speak to us about his life using the metaphor of a battle. It's quite appropriate in almost every sense that we would come to the question of fighting, preeminently because I think all of us have come to the place in our lives now where we realize that you're not going to get anything out of the experience of life if you're not prepared to fight for it. Interesting kind of realities that we live in cause us to understand that, follow this now, that in order to have something sacred, something precious must be sacrificed. That's right. You cannot enter into new levels, new dimensions of life if you're not willing to cut your ties with the parts of yourself that can't fit into where you're going. Oh, I know. The sacred is possible if the precious is sacrificed. Consequently, it is again fitting that Paul would bring us here to the metaphor of a good fight, because in order for us to understand how we might have victory in life, we must reconcile ourselves to the reality that lest we enter into profound and engagement, there will never be the kind of victory that we hope to have in the lives that we are living. If you want it, then you had better fight for it. This idea that you can be passive and you can lay back and wait for things to come to you has to die today. I believe that there are enough of us in the building who have lived long enough to know that if you wait for somebody to do for you what you have been waiting for, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life. Is anybody in here today who can say, Pastor, I have learned that the things you really want, you have to go after them on your own. You have to get down in the mud and be willing to get dirty to go after them. I want you to understand today that there is no fantasy. This is no illusion. I wish I could tell you that if you wait long enough, it'll come to you. I wish I could tell you that because you're saved and you're sanctified and you're filled with the Holy Ghost, that it's just going to show up at your door. I wish I could tell you because you went to school, it's going to happen, or because you pay your rent on time, it's going to happen, or because your car load is up, it's going to happen. I wish I could tell you that, but the truth of the matter is, you can do all of that, you can get a degree, you can pay your rent on time, and it's still not happening for you. It's going to happen when you get up out that seat and get up out that bed and tell the devil, I'm going to make it happen. The amazing thing about what we must discover today is that you were born into a fight. You were not born into some placid conversation. You were born into a fight. When you dropped from the darkness of your mother's womb, you were dropped into a battle between good and evil, between yes and no, between sound and silence, between light and darkness. And from the day you were born until the day you die, you got to pick those fists up Grab the weapon of the sword of the word and fight your way to the life that you're trying to live. I'm trying to get you to understand. You must understand the nature and destiny of life, because in order for us to have this conversation in a way that I think will bless you, I need you to understand that your enemy will do anything to stop you. I need you to understand that your enemy will do anything to stop you. One more time, it's early. Your enemy will do anything to stop you. I said your enemy will do anything to stop you. Whatever it takes to stop you, he will do it. If he's got to bring up your past, that's what he'll do. He got to drive your mama crazy to make you crazy, that's what he'll do. He got to mess with your money so that your spirit gets funny, then that's what he'll do. He will do anything to stop you. Anything to stop you. One more time, Pastor Sean. Anything to stop you. Half the stuff you're dealing with now is the result of your enemy trying to stop you, trying to distract you long enough so that you never get to where you're trying to go. Please understand, beloved, that most of us, when we're engaged in conflict and when we're engaged in a battle, we think that we're struggling because we're cursed. We think we're struggling because God's not with us. We think we're struggling because God has turned his back on us. But please understand that you struggle because you're a threat. If you are not a threat, there would be no struggle. You're struggling because you are a threat to the kingdom. Oh, come on. You're struggling because you're a threat to the kingdom of heaven. And he will do anything. And he will do everything. And he will use anybody. And he will bring up all of your past. And he will make all of your fears. And he will make all of your insecurities rise up in you to get you crazy long enough to forfeit your destiny. But is there anybody in here today? Is there anybody in here today who can say, Pastor Sean, come hell or high water? I don't care what the enemy does. I don't care who he uses. You can use my mother. You can use my money. You can use my wife. You can use my husband. You can use my children. I have decided that my life has got to be better than this. I've got to have better than this. I can't die like this. I can't go out like this. Come on and put your hands together. You are not as weak as you feel. You are not as broken as you may look. You are not as depressed and as without input or power as sometimes you act. If you had no strength, then you would have no conflict. For who fights a defeated foe? If you were defeated, then the enemy would not fight you, because you would be no threat to his agenda. The reason you have been so under attack more than half your life is because he knows that if you ever get to where you're going, that you will have within you the capacity to shake the foundations of the kingdom of hell. So he fights you so that he can stop you. The irony of it all is that you, in the middle of your difficulties and struggles, look up to heaven and you curse God. You curse yourself and deny yourself the possibility of your own greatness. You, in the midst of your conflict, begin to think that you don't have the wherewithal to make it. And you do not understand that it is precisely because of who you are that you have to go through what you have to go through. Let me help you with this. You must understand, beloved, that the size of your problem is also indicative of the size of your promise. If you want to understand, if you want to understand what you have on the inside of you, then look around at what's happening on the outside of you. Because your promise and your problem have a correlative effect. If the problem is big, then that tells me that the promise is big. If you didn't have, if your promise was small, then you would stub your toe, and that would be the end of it. But the reason you've lost your job, and the reason